you obviously have an incredibly diverse group of people out in space from different cultures, different backgrounds. And you all have your own ways of doing things. Was there anything that ever happened that was particularly humorous between everybody from the different backgrounds?
Anything humorous? I think, does anyone know why my name is Astronaut? Anyone ever hear this story? Yeah. On my first flight, we were sitting around, I think we were drawing blood or something, you know, what you usually do at home. And there was jury was sitting there, and then I think he heard something on the intercom, and he went back over to the Russian segment. And I watched him. It's my first flight, so I'm at the bull and trying to chop. I'm like, floating and bumping into people and knocking computers over and everything. But Yuri, he's been up there for maybe a couple of months. I swear to you, I look at him, and I think I'm watching a fish. He just goes, shh, and he's gone. It was like he's in water swimming like a dolphin, even more elegant. And so I said to myself, if I ever fly in space again, I want to flow through Astroflow. So that was kind of humorous. Watching him move like that is just incredible. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Hi. My name's Mike. And
what's your name?
Mike.
Mike.
I have a question about NASA's relationship with the Boy Scouts. I noticed in the materials that we received, we actually had a merit badge on robotics, and we know several astronauts and Eagle Scouts. My dad spent Scout Masters for 40 plus years. I'd like to hear a little bit about how NASA reached out to the Boy Scouts and
Yeah, I don't know a lot about that program. I'm fairly new to education. I just took the job about 6 months ago. Matt, do you know anything about that relationship? We have some other formal relationship with Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. I think you know a little more about that, right?
We do have we have a couple of people in the science fiction director, Renee. So I know that because she has 3 sons, she's been passionate about Boy Scouts and getting Boy Scout badges and doing that. So there may be a more formal relationship, but I know that
we actually have pages on the NASA website and the education page that talk about all the different things that we do with both Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Good.
So you can go to nasa.gov/education and look for the programs, and there'll be a web page for Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. We can tweet it out too.
I should have known that, but now I do.
Hi, Leland, I have a question for you. You were on the show of Bravo Top Chef, and you actually ate the food that the cook prepared. Did you hear back from the crew of STS-134 when they ate in orbit, how that was compared to what you ate?
I did not hear back from them. Sometimes people don't share their food with you. The food on the ground, though, was excellent. I mean, it was really, really good. And I think it was Tracy that moved off. She did not have good moving off. The fish dish was fantastic. So I didn't tag back with them to find out how it tasted on orbit.
It looked the same. I'll find that out.
It definitely looks the same.
Any other questions for Astroflow?
Got one right here.
Hi, I'm JB. Every time I ask a couple folks this trip, but every time I see video of the ISS, one thing that always strikes me is how loud it sounds up there. How loud. I mean, in all the video clips and all the tradition, there's lots of machinery noise. And I was wondering if you could tell me, is it really as loud as it seems from the video, or is it just something that's in our transmission?
I think some of the modules are louder than others. I think if you go to the gym, and the little section up at the top of the gym, that's the most quietest place. There's like water walls around that. There's not a lot of machinery in there. Service module is a little bit loud. Lab used to be loud, now it's a little bit quieter. But it's I think when those microphones are picking up, the microphones are pretty sensitive. So they pick probably more sound than you really would be hearing as you're passing through. And also your ears kind of get acclimated to it, so it doesn't seem as loud as the longer you stay up there. So it's not too bad. Some people sometimes, back in the day, used to wear earplugs and noise-canceling headsets and then to bed. But now I think the noise has been come down a lot because they put some baffles in some of the fans to cut down some of the sound. So, good question. There's a smell on space station. Have you ever been camping? Okay, so if you went camping, how did it smell when you got back after 34 days? A little right? Think of yourself camping for 2 weeks and you take sponge baths. That you don't like sponge out everything. So, you try, but you're amongst friends. You feel the love. You share your food. That's all right. But you get like the hearing, you get used to the sound, you get used to the smell. Yes, sir.
I've been asking everybody this, so last week I'm going to go home and tell them that my high school students, I'm going to tell my high school students that AstroFlow has a message for them. I tell them to do their homework. And I'm wondering, what do you would tell them, high school students?
Okay, high school students, I would tell them, first of all, that believe in yourself. That's the first thing. If people are telling you, people told me that I couldn't get an astronaut. I was in a cab going to JSC to go to my interview, and this cabbie said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to JSC to apply for an astronaut." I said, "Oh, you can't be an astronaut." I said, "Well, why?" I said, "Because you're not in the military." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thanks." So I wish I felt that guy today and say, "Well, I'm going to wife, bro." So people tell students that they can't do things. Guidance counselors sometimes tell them. Some teachers sometimes tell them. Their parents tell them that they can't do things. We're sometimes our kids' worst enemy when we tell them they can't do something. Or a mom will say, "I wasn't good at math. You won't be either. I wasn't good at that, so you don't have to worry about that." So we have to give them the ammunition to let them believe in themselves they can do anything. And my parents were both school teachers that believed that, they gave me all the opportunities. Piano lessons, clarinet lessons, football, basketball, tennis. They exposed me to everything to let me get a little sampling to see what I would like to do in my life. And I think letting them be creative. I was talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson the other day. Awesome guy. Good communicator. And he was saying that when his kids pull out a pot and a pan and a spoon and they're banging on them, that's an acoustics lesson. They're learning the different timbres of the different pots and pans. So instead of saying, "Stop making that noise, put that away," let them go on for maybe a couple of minutes until you can't hear anymore. But let them go with that experiment, because that's an experiment. When they touch the oven, you don't want them to burn themselves till they're disfigured or something, but let them understand what these different forces and things are. And that's it. That's part of exploration. That's part of experimentation. So a high school student, believe in yourself, sense everything. Go for anything you want to do. I mean, we've got people in the astronaut corps that flunked out of college. Okay? Like the rock climb, flunked out freshman year, had an engineer tell him that you need to go back to school. You need to do these things. And he flew in space 2 times. So you never know what you're going to become, but just experiment with everything and believe in yourself. And you can do anything. Yeah.
Earlier, Ricky said that riding on it was a little bit like being on a theme park ride. And I know that when I get on a roller coaster, I'm one of those people that checks my seatbelt about 10 times, even on the climb, or steps in with the left foot first. Do you have any superstitions when it comes to any of your work here, or anything that you do right as you're about to go up?
Like, do I do this and go? No, I think on my first flight, STS-122, 3 hours before I'm strapping in, looking over my notes, I go back to the Columbia accident, because after the accident, I went up to David Brown's parents' home in Washington, Virginia. And that night of the accident, David's dad said to me, tears in his eyes, said, "My son is gone. There's nothing you do to bring him back. But the biggest tragedy will be if you don't continue to carry on their legacy by flying in space." And so from that point on, I think everyone in the Corps were unified and focused on carrying on the legacy of those who had fallen. So when I got in the vehicle, it was all about, "Hey Dave, hey crew, I'm coming. We're going to honor you." And there was no fear, there was no, trepidation. It was like, I got a job to do, and that's to honor my friends. And I think that's what we all have to do by helping inspire a kid to be a doctor that's going to cure AIDS or save someone's life, is to inspire them to carry on the legacy of those that have fallen. And, we've had people perish. There will be more people that probably perish in us exploring future worlds. But I think the most important thing is we continue to do it no matter what happens, because it's the right thing to do. We carry on the civilization. So,
what do you hope comes next, Anwar, by the way? Where would you like to, if you could go up again and do a mission, where would you like to go, or just where do you hope NASA goes next in general?
I'd like to go with Ricky. If I were to go to space again, probably Mars. I don't think it's going to happen for me. I'm no longer in the Corps. I'm retired and I'm doing education. But if I could, I think to go to another planet, go past the moon and go somewhere that we haven't been before. And the thing is to build a propulsion system that can get us there now. I think also maybe L1 or L2, where you're just kind of hanging out. You don't have to worry about doing an orbital, orbiting around anything to get your microgravity, but you're actually in the ultimate sense of no gravity because all the forces balance out. I think that would be kind of a cool place to go also. But just the experience of looking back at the planet, every time you get that opportunity, this is breathtaking. The colors that we mentioned, it changes you as a person. And when you look out and you see that there are no political, actually there are political boundaries you can't see from space. We were working with USAID, we were having a collaboration with them, a memorandum of agreement with them, and there was a picture taken from a satellite that showed Mexico and Guatemala. And if you look at the political boundary, you could see that the Mexican side was being deforested. They were killing all trees. But the Guatemala side, they kept their trees intact. So there was a very distinct political boundary there that you can see from space. But all the other times you can't see that. And so it's just one planet working together. And I think if more people have the opportunity to go and see it from that vantage point, there'd be no more wars. There'd be no more fighting. We'd all get along. So all of you get a chance to go. You should, because the creative side is what helps fuel our nation. And it gives you these ideas and abilities to then build things you never thought about building before because of that little creative spark. And I always tell people when you dream, have a little notepad beside your bed so you can write down the solutions to all the world's problems that you dream about that you forget after you wake up. So I always tell students to do that because some of those creative solutions come from your subconscious and your dreams. So I don't know if I answered the question. All right.
Leland, you've flown 2 different flights, and one of them, both times you obviously went to the launch pad and asked for a van. During STS-129, that was our first tweet up. When the tweets went out there and waved to you, were you aware of their presence?
Yeah. Energy coming. It was like the Twitterverse was like realigning itself. As we feel the love. Yeah, I saw you guys. Yeah.
I'm sure that's a terrific. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank all of you.